let's talk about Geek HQ. So Geek HQ was a term actually coined by Zeke. Zeke just called the basement here where we hang out and play around and do all of our work and everything, and called it Geek HQ one day, and we all thought it was completely ridiculous. But as time went on, it totally became clear that it actually was kind of Geek HQ, because this is where everybody from GeeksPodcast comes to record podcasts, pick up equipment so they can, kind of work on their own endeavors, and generally just hang out, because we're kind of like a big family and everything, and that's super cool. And that's the thing, Geek HQ is just a fancy term for my basement. It's not, some amazing subterranean complex or anything. Not yet, but someday. And as everybody kind of started coming over, we realized that the basement kind of had to be designed to accommodate two very specific functions. That was a place to chill out, play games, have fun, and also a place where we could get work done. And for the most part, it's been a pretty even 50-50 split. Although recently, that split has kind of been shifting more towards maybe a 80, or not 80, maybe like a 70-30, 60-40 split, leaning more towards work. And the reason I say that is because lately GeeksPodcast has actually been embracing its namesake in a way that it probably should have been doing for a long time, but now we're kind of hitting our stride and coming up with a lot of new audio-video content that we've been working on. This vlog is a great example of that. Game Gab was an example of that. Kyle's developing a new show. I think Grampy's working on a new show. Zeke and Christina are doing a couple of Geeks. Lucas has something very exciting in the works. So there's just a lot more audio video stuff happening than in the past. We used to lean pretty heavily on articles, but now we're kind of shifting more towards the direction of podcasts. Fancy that, since we're GeeksPodcast. So anyways, knowing that we've kind of been shifting more towards that, and people have more requirements for equipment they need to produce that kind of content, it became very clear to me very quickly that it needed to be easier to get said equipment out of this basement, because a lot of that stuff is stuff that Jason and I have here at the house, from computers to cameras, microphones, backdrops, lighting, and all kinds of other fancy toys. But the problem was nobody really knew where all that stuff was. Like, they kind of knew that it was back here in the studio, which is really just a fancy word for my laundry room. So, well, I know where all that stuff is. It's kind of like, like when your mom cleans your room as a kid, and then you can't find anything. Very similar here. People would come over and be like, hey, can I grab a camera? Can I grab this? I'm like, oh yeah, it's back there. And they'd be like, where? I was like, okay, this is something that has to change. So over the past 2 days, the vlogs were kind of lackluster, because basically I just spent the past 2 days really cleaning everything out and organizing everything to make all of that, all that equipment more accessible. So back there, I pretty much just stripped away everything that was unnecessary, basically a bunch of retro game stuff, which is not unnecessary. That stuff's still important to me. I just put it in a place where it doesn't need to be accessed constantly the same way tripods do, for example. So I pretty much went through, stripped away everything that was unnecessary, and then labeled all of the equipment so everyone could find it in a very easy to find way. People can shoot back there now, and that's pretty much what I spent the past 3 days doing. So, we're hitting 100 tomorrow. I'm not really sure what the future of the vlog is. I have some ideas, but I'll talk more about those tomorrow. So anyways, that is what I've been up to, is just making things more accessible here. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you on the vlog tomorrow. Alright, later.